What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host that needs some good Switch game recommendations. Don't tell me Smash or Breath of the Wild or Mario Kart because I already have those. I need some, give me something good. Also, don't say Hollow Knight because I've already played the ever-loving poo out of it on PlayStation. Anyways, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromRetail. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story is called How I Quit Selling Appliances, Part 1. About a week before Black Friday one year, I had a customer come into my store, really interested in redoing his whole kitchen appliance setup. I talked to him about what he needed, fridge size, etc., but it quickly became apparent that he had his mind set on a certain fridge. Size didn't matter. Okay, then came the oven, then the microwave, then the dishwasher. I didn't recommend Samsung dishwashers because, at the time, they just didn't work. Told him to get the Bosch for a couple of $100 less because it worked well and matched the style. He'd have none of it. Part 2. We sat down at the counter with all the model numbers written down. I find that we have tons of the models in question in stock. When I quoted him the price, he kind of chuckled and said, "Oh no, I'm not paying that." I had already applied the Samsung bundle pricing to it. We went back and forth a few times. It came out of his mouth, "I want the Black Friday pricing." And I kind of stuttered. He saw the Black Friday leak for it and wanted that pricing about a week early. I explained that I couldn't do that. Back and forth. Manager got involved. Manager just kind of waved his hand and made it happen. Part 3. Delivery was straight up for this guy. I told him I could have them delivered and installed the next day, given that he has a proper kitchen setup for the given appliances. If he has a proper water line, we can install the fridge's water line and place it. If he has a proper microwave overhead, we can install it. If he has a proper dishwasher water line and spot, it'll all work. "It's all proper," he says. We set it all up with proper setups being there. Set the install and setup date for December 27th. Part 4. I get a call from a customer of mine on December 22nd. He wants to change his delivery date. Okay, let's do that. He wants a full Samsung kitchen scheduled for December 27th, changed to December 23rd, next day delivery. I can't do that. The schedule is filled up. This guy started going crazy and I realized who he was. This line has stuck with me for life. "When I ordered these, I was told that I could get next day delivery. I'm asking for the next day delivery. Why has the story changed?" The story has changed because it's a different story now. I can't deliver these tomorrow. "Well, I sold all my appliances on Craigslist and they picked them up today. I need them tomorrow." You what? "I don't have any appliances for Christmas because I sold mine. I need the ones I bought now." I don't know how his Christmas went. He didn't have his appliances. He had an empty kitchen for it. Part 5. I was sitting at the desk, checking on orders and stuff after getting back from my Christmas, and this guy sat down in the chair in front of me without my noticing. "Oh, hey, can I help you?" "You know why I'm here?" And suddenly it clicked. It was this guy. Yeah, no, hold on, I'll be back. I didn't come back. I just got my manager. My manager then railed into this guy about how he agreed to give him Black Friday pricing a week before Black Friday, about how he signed a piece of paper agreeing to take delivery a certain day, and how next day delivery the week of Christmas was impossible. The customer then explained how his family had to go through Christmas without a kitchen because they sold their old appliances on Craigslist, and my manager just laughed at him. The dude got real mad. All said and done, he took his delivery the scheduled day. Turned out, the Samsung fridge was too large for his space. He needed a counter depth and the fridge stuck out way too far. He didn't have a water line for the fridge, so they couldn't install the ice maker. His old microwave was not mounted correctly, and the installers would not install the microwave unless he paid to have a power line installed for it. He lost his damned mind. Part 6, or Why I Quit. December 30th rolled around and I came to work to a full voicemail box and about 5 voicemails about the situation ranting. I called him back and he was just raging mad. I went into autopilot and explained that he picked out these appliances. It wasn't my fault they didn't fit. It wasn't my fault his previous microwave was hardwired like a hood, etc., etc. I gave him a new fridge that fit for the same price. He was pissed that it was a smaller capacity. I explained that is what his kitchen allowed. I took a hit on commission for this order to fulfill for him, etc. I set up the new delivery for the next day, New Year's Eve. He didn't want delivery on New Year's Eve. He wanted it today, and the following exchange took place.
Because you guys have messed this up, my wife has to work tomorrow.
New Year's Eve.
Normal people don't have to work New Year's Eve, and now she does, so I can't take delivery tomorrow.
Well, I work tomorrow too, so I understand.
Yeah, you do. I want them today.
I can't do that. I can do New Year's Day or the day after.
We're not taking time out of our New Year's Day to do this. Make it the 2nd.
And after going home that day, I just stopped going back into work and got drunk because this guy so successfully broke me down that I didn't really want to live anymore. Edit. I'll clarify, we offered next day delivery and installation in general. This was offered to the customer at the time of the purchase. I can imagine the most annoying thing a salesman might have to go through is when a customer doesn't know what they want, but they're also too stubborn to take your suggestions. So like they think they know everything, they think they know what they want, and you could literally just be trying to help someone out, but they just get offended and they take a hit to their ego because yeah, I don't need to explain this to you guys. You guys know how freaking annoying people are. This story's called The Woman with Two Wigs. Oh, wow, I hadn't expected my post to be received that well. Thank you all so much for the upvotes and comments. It really makes me happy. As promised, I have another story which actually took place last month, so it's still a tad fresh in my mind. So, me and my coworker, who is a good friend and a fellow courtesy clerk, let's call her Ale, were working a 6 a.m. shift. As per usual with 6 a.m. shifts, we were just generally chatting, putting go-back items into their respective carts, preparing to place them back on their shelves. As I was doing so, I hear the low mechanical murmur of one of our motorized shopping carts coming up behind me. I step to the side to let the rider through, but notice that rider had stopped right next to me. I look over and notice I had seen this woman a little earlier in my shift, but because she was at a distance before, I didn't give it much thought. But now that she was right beside me, I couldn't help but notice. This woman was wearing two wigs on her head. One blonde, one black. The blonde one was on her scalp, while the black one was messily thrown on top of the blonde one. That, and her demeanor. Something felt off to me. She didn't seem to be under the influence or anything. Something just didn't feel right. Alright, that's new, but I still don't want to make any assumptions. It's 6 a.m. after all. The woman looks at me and says, "Hey yo, follow me," and starts riding her scooter to the door. I'm a bit taken aback by this. What could this woman want from me that requires me to head outside? Sure, it was a little past 6 a.m., but it was still winter. It was still dark outside. I glance at my coworkers. Ale seems just as confused as I am. But Mrs. P, one of the cashiers, was shaking her head, advising strongly not to follow. I look back at the woman who is now halfway to the door. She stops the scooter and notices that I am not following. She motions me with her hand and a loud, "Come on!" I'm not condoning what I do. I look back on this now and I still call myself dumb for it. I follow her partially. I had no intention of following her anywhere outside of the store, but I did follow her to the doorway. Once I reach there, I firmly plant my feet and refuse to move any further. I glance over to the security guard who is posted by the door. He's watching this interaction intently from the corner of his eyes, which made me feel a lot better. The woman is now in the doorway as well, but this time when she looks back for me and sees where I am, she just accepts it. That I'm going no further than this. She then asks me to lean in just a bit closer because I have something to ask that I don't want anyone else to hear. She really didn't want anyone else to hear either. As anyone who would walk by, she would stop and glare them down with a hard side eye. Once she was sure that no one else could hear, she asked, How do you want your hair done? I was a bit confused. Currently, I have no styles in my hair. I just wash it and put it into a ponytail. I'm not really looking for anything extravagant at the moment. Maybe just a nice press to get my hair a bit easier to manage again. So I awkwardly tell her as such. She stares for a moment and then points to one of her wigs. Do you want it like this? I really don't. I reiterate that I just want my hair done and out of the way, so I don't want to have to focus on it for a while. I don't think she likes this response, as she sorta glared at me and in a more sharp and whispered tone said, I'm trying to do something nice for you. I do a little nervous laughter. Bad habits. I can't help when I'm not sure how to respond. What's your name? She asked. And, I can't lie about it. It's right there on my name tag. OP? OP. All right, I'll remember that. I won't forget. I'll remember that. I got something for you. I'll bring it to you next month. Be looking out for it. She starts to drive off, and as she is going out the door, she keeps mumbling loudly, Let somebody screw with you. Just let somebody screw with you. As though she were threatening somebody. I walk back to my coworker and tell them what happened. But it doesn't quite end there. A little while later, I was in an aisle putting things back on the shelves when I look over and happen to see the same lady riding by on her scooter past the aisle I was working on. I had thought she was finished, hence why she left earlier, but she passed my aisle at least a few times. This had been enough to put me on edge initially, and I had tried to stay out of her sight until I was sure she had left. As it turns out, she's a semi-regular customer, coming in on random, occasional intervals. Some coworkers have seen her, others haven't. And there was an instance where I saw her a few weeks ago while I was pushing in carts. She wouldn't have noticed or seen me because I was wearing my scarf around my face and a hood to cover my head. The story comes to mind because this month is the month that she supposedly brings me something. I'm honestly not sure what it could be, but my guess is that it could be a wig. If she was serious about bringing me something, let me know what you guys think it could be because I'm curious. And of course, if she does bring me the thing, I will update you guys. I want to also clarify, I'm not sure if she was on drugs or had a mental illness. I don't want to make assumptions like that. All I know is that the whole encounter and situation was just strange. Thanks for reading! Yeah! Man, that was disappointing at the end. They're like, oh, this happened last month. And then the lady says, oh, next month I'm gonna bring you something. And it's a month later, but there was no thing brought to her. I thought that they were like, oh, this happened a month ago, and the reason I'm waiting so long to post it is because I was waiting for her to, do the thing that she said she would do. But no, you had to do us like that. Anyways, if it's any consolation, you obviously have to care about the story to want a conclusion to it. But still, man, you don't gotta do us dirty like that. And I know in real life, not everything has a satisfying ending, but come on! This story's called, Young College Student Makes Me Hold the Door Open for Her Because She Wants Automatic Doors. Hey Reddit, welcome to my life. So I don't exactly work in retail per se, but this is the most fitting sub I could post on related to my profession. Feel free to remove it if it doesn't fit here. So here's the deal. It's 30 to close. I'm the only one here, and I'm doing my closing routine. We're in a big city near a huge college campus, but it's a Sunday night, so we're slow. We keep quite a few signs out in front of the shop, and they have huge weighted bricks to hold them down during strong winds. So, needless to say, closing kinda sucks since you're forced to do a mini workout, but whatever. So I'm carrying these bricks in, a few at a time, because they're super heavy with no real handles on them. I also try to grab some of the tarps that go with the signs to make as few trips as possible. While I'm doing this, there's this girl that pulls up on a bike and just kinda stands at the entrance to the store. We're in a big city, so people tend to stop by often without actually coming in. So I have no idea what this girl's plan is or what she wants. As I'm about to walk in with my arms very obviously full, she looks at me and goes, "Excuse me, do you work here?" Me literally standing there with a company logo t-shirt on, lanyard, weights, company sign and all. Yes, I do. Is there something I could help you with? Well, what a dumb question that was, because this girl literally looks at me, arms full, carrying weights and says,
I really dislike that these doors are not automatic. How am I supposed to get in with my bike? They're not even ADA accessible. How would someone with a wheelchair even get in?
I'm standing there trying to wrap my mind around how someone in a wheelchair is incapable of using their arms to open a door when I notice that she's looking at me like I'm the idiot. She then asks me to hold open the door for her. It might sound like not that big of a deal or that ridiculous of a request, but here's the thing. This girl can clearly see that my arms are completely full and I had no issues opening the door for myself. I can't even imagine having nothing in my arms and asking someone else to open a door for me simply because I'm upset that it's not automatic. She literally watched me struggle to open the door, then walked right in. Some might think this story ends here, but it does not. We both get inside, no thanks to her, and she proceeds to tell me how much she hates our doors. She tried listing out all the different kinds of people who might not be able to open our doors. Keep in mind, these are regular doors, not some kind of magical doors that are impossible to open. No, just regular old doors with a simple handle. According to Brittany, people in wheelchairs, short people, so short they can't open a door, people with disabilities, people with no arms, etc. Her list was absolutely ridiculous and honestly a little offensive. She seemed upset that I wasn't fixing it or had an answer of when it would be fixed. This girl wants automatic doors tonight. I told her I would pass it along the chain, and then proceeded to hide in the back so she would at least have to open her own door when leaving. It's not that big of a deal, but it feels good to vent about it. Open your own doors, people. I obviously would go out of my way to help anyone that's in need, but some people really like to take advantage of other people's kindness. Before I get any judgment, I wanted to add that she had no issues riding her bike, lifting heavy items in the store, etc. I know not all disabilities are visible, but truly, she opened the door just fine when she left on her own. Also, I only mentioned that she's a college student because a lot of the students on campus come from really wealthy families. I go to a state school nearby, but I don't feel like it changes anything. Yeah, I feel like it's kind of obvious that that girl is just really lazy and kind of spoiled, and she's advocating for accessibility just so that she can further enable her own laziness.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.